Have you ever thought about traveling to a place that is not commonly heard of, but is still beautiful in every way? Tuvalu is one of those places that is beautiful and unknown. It is a place to relax from all stress, enjoy the beautiful view, enjoy the delicious food, and learn about a new culture. Nobody in this group, including I, have ever heard about Tuvalu. However, just doing some research on it has intrigued us and has made a desire in us to travel to Tuvalu and experience its vibes ourselves. Learning about Tuvalu can also, can allow you to know more about an unknown country and one day possibly make you have a desire to visit Tuvalu. Today you will learn about Tuvaluan life and Tuvalu's geography, myths, foods, and beautiful art. Darby will start us out with Tuvaluan culture.
First, we will talk about daily life in Tuvalu. Daily life in Tuvalu is like no other. As explained by Patrick Barkham, a natural history author, in his article from The Guardian called Going Down in 2002, at dawn, men and women stand in the ocean eating fish and coconut while scrubbing pans. They stand neck deep in the ocean waters. He continues to describe the rest of the day in Tuvalu's culture. At midday, a father and son are cleaning a pig like you would a fish. The pig is either lunch or sold at the market. At dusk, it's all fun and relaxation. Men and women sit on motorbikes watching the sunset, while children slide down boat ramps into the ocean blue waters. Motorbikes are a popular form of transportation and a common indulgence of the Tuvaluan people. While they end the day with relaxation, citizens in Tuvalu still work. Barkham tells us more. Most islanders stand with one foot in a cash economy and one in the traditional realm of subsistence farming and fishing. When talking about subsistence farming and fishing, he quotes Lake, a local fisherman. Personally, I'm very worried about sea level rising because I don't want to be caught. Drowning is a dreadful death. He quotes Lake when speaking about the local fishing methods. Most islanders use wooden boats to fish, but because of the low-lying islands, they often get lost. Despite this danger, it is still a popular profession. Another form of fishing involves money and trade. Quite a few islanders work for a fishing company, and they send their wages home, while others work for the government. They can work in a variety of areas: infrastructure, office personnel, or they could be a government official and help run the country. Despite being a small country, education is still very important in Tuvaluan life. Patrick Barkham describes how the only boat on Tuvalu spends its days ferrying students to and from the island of Aitupu, the only place where there is a secondary school. Students in Tuvalu are similar to the students in the United States. They don't have school on Sundays. Sundays are seen as a day of rest to the primarily Christian Tuvaluans. In fact, 98% of Tuvaluans are Protestant Christian, according to worldtravelguide.net, a renowned travel guide. After secondary school, many students go to Maritime Training School or the University of the South Pacific in Fiji. As mentioned earlier, many students join the Maritime Training School. The Maritime Training School recruits upwards of 600 Tuvaluan men and women per year, according to Barkham's article. Daily life in Tuvalu is largely impacted by its geography. Next, Jacquelin will be talking about the geography of Tuvalu.
Thank you for your interesting information, Darby, on the culture of Tuvalu. Now we will learn more on the geography of Tuvalu. Tuvalu is actually a country located in the West Central Pacific Ocean. It is in the southwestern Pacific Ocean region of the Oceania Ocean, which is about halfway between the state of Hawaii and the nation of Australia. Tuvalu is actually considered one of the smallest countries on Earth, as stated by Amanda Brangley, who is a professional geographer, and she stated this in her article named Geography and the History of Tuvalu, which was published in 2019. Tuvalu is composed of 9 small coral islands, which are scattered in a chain line approximately northwest to southeast over a distance of 420 miles, as stated by Barry K. MacDonald, who is a history professor, and he stated this in his article named Tuvalu, which was also published in 2019. They are commonly known as the Ellice Islands, with a conjunction of several islets, which are also small islands. Amanda Brinley stated that Tuvalu is composed of 5 coral atolls, which are ring-shaped coral reefs including a coral rim that encircle a lagoon partially or completely. And it also includes 4 reef islands, but none are more than 15 feet or 5 meters above sea level. Tuvalu is actually a different country among many others. There are some factors that Tuvalu has that other countries do not. For example, author Amanda Brinley stated that 6 of the 9 islands comprising Tuvalu have lagoons going into the ocean, and one of those other islands contain no lagoons at all. Also, the most interesting factor about Tuvalu is that it has one island for specific things. For example, the island named Funafuti, which is located in the Funafuti Atoll, is the only one with an airport. This same island has a village named Vaiku, which is where most government officials are actually located in. Unlike many other countries, none of the islands located in Tuvalu have rivers, waterfalls, deserts, mountains, volcanoes, canyons, or even caves. Now, what is the climate like in Tuvalu? Tuvalu actually has a tropical climate with little seasonal variation. The annual mean temperature in Tuvalu is 30 degrees Celsius or 86 degrees Fahrenheit, which is moderated by easterly trade winds that blow from March to November. The annual rainfall averages more than 355 centimeters or 140 inches. The westerly gales bring heavy rain from November to March. Overall, Tuvalu has a beautiful geography, and it has many interesting facts about each of its components of its islands. But Tuvalu myths are also quite interesting to learn about. Next, Kaylin will tell us more about them.
There are many myths about the islands that made up Tuvalu. Here are a few. The first begins with the man who married a dolphin. The man who married a dolphin is one of the many myths in Tuvalu's culture. A young man had once owned a plantation with coconut trees. One morning, he found the leaves of the trees cut, and a few weeks later, it occurred again. He couldn't figure out why it was happening, over and over. So fast forward 2 full moons later, he decides to hide on his plantation. He waited and saw a group of young men and women cutting his trees. He shouted at them. They ran towards the beach and turned into dolphins while diving into the water. During the commotion, he manages to grab one of the young women. So when he meets her, he takes her to his village and marries her. They have 2 sons. One day, the wife gets sick and tells the husband she wants to go visit her family in the sea. And then she turns into a dolphin and goes back into the sea. Later, their sons become strong and intelligent and the best fishermen on the island because their mother taught them how. The next story is the legend of how an island got its name, Vaidupu. The legends of Vaidupu include multiple stories of how the island was created. The first settler was Talamadawa, who came by canoe from Samoa and his son with him. There were theories about where he placed his first and second wives, so he divided his time between the 2, Funafuti and Vaidupu. People became suspicious why he went away so often, and in Samoan, his first wife, Futi, would say, Vaioa Tupu, which means to see Tupu. The phrase became simplified to one word, and that's how the island got its name, Vaidupu. The final myth is based on how the island of Nukufetau got its name. It is believed that a party of Tongans were the first settlers on Nukufetau, and when they landed, they found a fetau tree, and it was only one. In result, they called the island Nukufetau, which means island of the fetau. Tuvalu and myths are quite interesting. Next, Destiny will give you a better taste of how interesting Tuvalu is. Foods make up a major part of many cultures. Here we go.
Good afternoon. My name is Destini Legrand, and I'm here to discuss the food of Tuvalu. In Tuvalu, there are a variety of different meals prepared a day. According to elearn.edu, there are exactly 3 meals prepared a day in Tuvalu. The first meal of the day, which is called Kega Teyu, which means breakfast, is a meal that is special for their drink. The special drink is named Toddy. Toddy is almost similar to what we drink in our country, which is coffee. Toddy is a warm drink made from coconut sap. Toddy contains vitamin C, which is a vitamin that allows for growth or tissue repairment. Toddy has to be prepared twice a day to make sure the coconut sap remains fresh. The second meal of the day, which is known as Kega Atutani, which means midday meal, is prepared at an uma. An uma is a small building or house that contains a fireplace or a stove. The women go out and find the food for the midday meal. The midday meal usually consists of fish because they live right on the lake, so that's usually what they eat for their midday meals. If the women have a good day of harvest, which means they bring enough fish back for them and their family, they also share with their neighbors. On Sundays, the midday meal is especially special. On Sundays, the midday meal is seen as a ritual. The family comes together as one and sits on the carpet. They pass around a bowl, which is used to cleanse the hands and the face before and after eating. The last meal of the day doesn't have a name, but it is almost similar to the midday meal. The midday meal mostly consists of fish, but the last meal of the day mostly consists of a variety of pork and chicken. In Tuvalu, there are a variety of snacks prepared. According to safariguide.org, the main 2 snacks in Tuvalu is palooka and breadfruit. This is palooka and that is breadfruit. Both of those can be prepared in a variety of different ways. Palooka is a swamp taro, which is mainly from the southern parts of Asia. It can be boiled, roasted, or made into a pudding. And breadfruit can be baked, boiled with coconut cream, or fried. In Tuvalu, the main diets consist of what you can afford. There is not one diet that fits all. But the most similar diet in Tuvalu consists of palooka, spinach, raw or cooked chicken. The second most common diet is to the people that can afford it, the wealthy people or the people that have money. This consists of flour, corned beef, or a variety of different spices. In Tuvalu, there are a variety of different foods that are common. The breakfast is mostly known for their toddy, which is almost similar to our coffee. Now Grace will introduce you to the art culture of Tuvalu. Thank you for listening.
Tuvaluan artists have a unique style of art that represents traditional craft type of style of art, as well as an innovative and very new, different type of art form. Tuvaluan artists have very different types of style of art than Western societies, and if one were to go to Tuvalu, a landscape of movement and color would greet your eyes during a church ceremony. These handwoven fabrics are created by stretching yarn across a metal frame and intricately sewing designs and patterns into this sort of web work of designs, as Madeline Chapman states in her article, who has a degree in education and has some Tuvaluan ancestry herself. For ceremonies and special occasions, the women of Tuvalu put on these blouses of koloses that are hand woven, along with the traditional grass skirts as you see in the photo. Madeline Chapman gives us a short history of this art form. In her article, she tells us that it started with European crocheting, but has slowly evolved into a very specific and unique type of art form that is native only to Tuvalu. According to Scott Hamilton, an activist for small countries, oftentimes this has been considered a work of craft rather than a work of art because of its functionalness as well as the type of handiwork that is usually associated with it. Scott Hamilton explains that museums rejected these people as artists and would not allow them to showcase their beautiful artworks. But in the past 7 years, this changed. The functionality of the blouses and the fabrics was viewed as excluding it from what finer points of art, but they were really overlooking the innovative and new qualities that were being done with this art form. Our difficulty in displaying these art forms in museums was that it lacked the qualities that are displaying how these are usually worn, because as you see, they're worn with a two-part grass skirt, and they're worn for celebrations and to really express the height of the occasion. And so they're not supposed to be meant to be seen as still and passive on lifeless mannequins in a museum. To rectify the situation, a video was placed in a museum exhibit, as Kevin Murray, a PhD in narrative psychology, tells us. Another challenge that Tuvaluan artists face is that a lot of people are moving away from Tuvalu. Now in this next slide you'll see Lucky Tuko, who is an artist who has really taken this art form and has been celebrated across the world for it. She is working on a very large piece of art. You can see the metal framework on here. And she really has a handle on what she wants in life, and she's been working for 12 years. She works for 12 hours a day on these, and her commitment is truly amazing, especially as Madeline Chapman told us in her article, Weaving a Life. The functional beauty of Tuvaluan art is that she's partially blind, so she creates these beautiful works of art partially blind. But the women who create colusas are very dedicated to their art form, and they have faith that it will continue throughout the next generations. Overall, Tuvalu has many features that combine together to create an interesting and unique culture. Between farming and industrial businesses, the tentative geography of Tuvalu, the intriguing folklore as well as the variety present in their native cuisine, and the art of kolus, Tuvalu has a vibrant culture that makes for a hard-working and multifaceted place to visit. Tuvalu can be seen as small and isolated, but it can also be seen as a place to explore the exceptional and the historical. We hope you've enjoyed your tour of Tuvalu.